As many of you know, my son Ford was born literally in the middle of a global pandemic when my biggest concern was obviously trying to find toilet paper, figuring out, who needs to wear a mask or not. And now he's putting on a backpack and he's going to kindergarten.
Oh my God, she's crying.
I'm so emotional about him going to kindergarten and, just seeing all these pandemic babies grow up so fast. It's been 5 years and just like, letting them go. So for all the mommies, whoever had to let go of their babies, whether it's starting school or just starting to grow up, this one's for you.
We read the books, we bought the things. We thought we were ready. And then life took our plans and changed them. I'm Karen, I'm Victoria's mommy, and I work in tech.
And I'm Pamela. I have a baby boy named Ford, and I'm a journalist. And although we're both first-time working moms, we're actually pretty different.
And that's totally okay. Because we both agree that our most important work is raising our kids. We really need each other and can only get through this together. Welcome to Motherish Moments.
Alrighty. Okay, Pamela.
First of all, I miss you.
I miss you
We've
too.
We've done a few episodes
with other
solo.
people.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. It's like when I hear you say, I went to dinner with like one of my good friends. Like, who? Who do you go to dinner with? Who? What friend?
I know, but guys, me. Pamela and I went to dinner the other night and it was actually really great. We had a good time. I loved it. It was like very cutesy, datesy.
It was so cute. You know what? It was so cute that in your story, because I was stalking you, like you got dressed up.
Yeah,
you look so
I got dressed
pretty.
up for you.
For me, in my mind, like it's for me.
I did. Yeah,
she's going to meet me.
I wore all
for
black
dinner.
for you. Like I put my
like a little
most
silky,
expensive.
Like a silky,
yeah, I put my most expensive.
Like
shoes.
I wanted to touch it. I didn't touch the silk, but it was like
everybody asked me about that blouse. It's from Zara, but from like 2 years ago. So, but they have a similar one at Aritzia. If anyone's asking,
it was really
nadie me pregunta, but
really
just in case. Toda la gente me está preguntando. No, nobody actually. Nobody asked me, but
no, but it was nice to spend time outside the studio, right? And to kind of like.
It was great. We need to do this regularly. I know. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I know.
Okay, so before we start with today's topic, why don't you start with your motherish
moment?
My
motherish moment. Okay. So as some of you know, if you follow the podcast, Victoria was on a trip with her dad for 2 weeks. It was the first time that I've ever been away from her for 2 weeks. And now she's back. And I was so excited for her to come back. I enjoyed the break. It was very healthy for me. It was healthy for her, I think. But when she came back, it was so funny because I had like butterflies like driving to go pick her up.
Oh.
I had butterflies and I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited.
This is the longest you've ever been apart from her.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Like, what? That's so long.
It's a long time.
But I had butterflies going to pick her up, but I also didn't want to come on too strong, like, guys, this is me. Like if there was ever a test of my personality, this is it. Inside I'm like, I feel so much, and inside I'm like, oh hey, how are you? It's so bad. But nothing. I just didn't want to like come on too strong. And I also understood that after spending so much time with her dad, like that was going to be a hard thing to like detach or whatever. So I was like, okay, hey, like, playing it cool. And it was awesome. So yeah, it was great to like reconnect with my kid. And like it's so funny because she was in Argentina, so she spent a lot of time speaking Spanish and the whole time speaking Spanish, which is amazing. Yeah. But then she was like in the kitchen, she's like, "Mama, me puedes pasar el cuchillo?" And I'm like, "Sí, hijita, toma."
She's like Dario's expense, whatever, 5 days in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
Oiga, whatever. So it's funny, but it's great. Overall, for anybody who's ever like who's about to do this for the first time, because I think we're still experiencing firsts, for anyone who's going to do that for the first time, all of these things involved in co-parenting, like I think you get a lot more nervous about it beforehand, and once you go through it, you're like, okay, like we can do this. But yeah, that's my motherish moment.
So my motherish moment also has to do with summer and trips. And this was the first summer where I did not want to be apart from Ford. Such a fun age. We did a few trips. So instead of doing like one long trip, we did like 3 or 4 little ones. So we would take like 3 or 4 days and I would come back and work for a few days and I would take a few more days off. And it was great. And just the whole dynamic of traveling with Ford has been so easy and so fun. And, obviously it has certain challenges and certain things, for example, like, him socializing with, I'm like, come in and say good morning, or, saying hello, meeting new people, greeting new people. But he was great. He's a great, on the plane. But advice that I have, if you're, debating whether to leave your baby one, your little one, right? During, for a few days, either to go with your husband or to go away with your girlfriends, that's the time to do it. Like, you don't realize how much easier it is when you don't have a little person who's asking you, where are you? What are you doing? So you don't realize how much easier it is emotionally on the mom to leave your baby, because they don't know any, like,
Oh my God, but that was so much harder for
they don't
me.
know. They don't
Emotionally, it
know.
was so much harder
I think
then.
now I can't even, like, now he's like, when are we leaving? What are we
Yeah.
doing? Where are we going? Show me on the map. What are we gonna do? And then even when I go to work, he's like, where are you? Why are you not here? Like, what are you doing? Like, just like the guilt of like having him question
Right,
me.
right, right. Because there's a dialogue about
Yeah,
it.
there's a dialogue. Just question this: why am I not included? Why is it
Yeah.
only grown-ups? So I'm saying, from the emotional stand, it's so much easier, and you don't realize that in
To
that
manage
moment.
them.
Yes, in that moment, you think it's so hard to be away from the baby. But if you have a good team and you trust whoever's going to be watching your
Mhm.
child, I'm saying it's worth it. Get away, again, with your husband, with your girlfriend, whatever it is, because your child won't notice. They don't realize that mom is away
Yeah.
for so many days, whereas at this age, they do.
Yeah. I think
And
if
at
I ever
this
do a
age,
do-over, I mean, not a do-over, but if for whatever reason I do this again, like I would definitely try that. I think it's important, and I just like I wasn't taking everything on the right. I was taking it on in whatever way it was, but like I see it. I see
yeah,
it
like I remember
5 years
bringing
later.
it up, and you looked at me like
Like
I
like you
was,
had 3 eyes. I
yeah,
was
like,
like,
you're a
you're
psychopath,
crazy.
you're
Yeah.
crazy. I
Yeah,
would
yeah, yeah.
not leave
I know.
Victoria,
I know.
Um, and again,
I'm
looking
sorry.
back, but now I do, but now I also get the part of just, I love being with him, like having that travel partner, having that relationship, having that dynamic with my son has been incredible. And I think this summer, for me, in my book, was the summer that I realized that.
Mm.
So it's been great.
Good. Nice. Nice. Okay, so Pamela, you want to talk about the 2020 pandemic babies going into kindergarten?
Yes. Again, I don't know if it was my algorithm or
It
what
is
it
everybody.
is.
Yeah, anybody
Yes.
who has a child at this point that is in elementary school is probably getting something like this. Like, it's the
Yes, like,
year of the pandemic baby
it
going
is
to
the year of the
kindergarten.
pandemic baby, and it's like, and they use that song, the Ed Sheeran, like, I have
Yeah.
a feeling this is going to go by really fast. And it's
Bye.
like from baby to this.
Bye.
I can't really tell if it's been a super fast, like it's gone so fast, it's 5 years, or it has been really slow. Like, I have my days. I do think I took in every moment, every second, every season, every month. I think I was bombarded with that message so much about it going so fast that I
Mhm.
really grounded myself, and I was present, for every season, that I don't have that sense of like it went by so fast,
Yeah. Yeah.
But then when you look at the pictures, you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
he was just a baby last year.
Yeah.
Now he's like having conversations and like asking me like where we're gonna go to breakfast, and we're having dates. But I do think there's an emotional toll, and I think for all the moms who were raising kids,
Mhm.
small children, and birthing during the pandemic,
That was hard. That
it
was
was
wild.
crazy. It
That
was
like
wild.
what the heck? Like, to not say something else, but like that was crazy town. The baby, if you had a baby in the pandemic, whether your baby was like 2, 3 years old or 1 year old, Victoria was 1 in the pandemic. And I was like, what are we doing?
I
Like,
know.
the other day I saw this video on Instagram. Man, my Instagram has been real weird lately. It's been a lot of jokes and stuff, like weird humor. I don't know.
Like
I don't know.
dark humor. Like,
No, like dog humor and like just
okay.
it's just weird. I don't know, it's a weird place. But the point is there was a video that was recapping like different ways that people went grocery shopping in the pandemic, and people wearing like space helmets, like just
Yeah.
crazy shit that I'm just like I'm looking at it and I'm like, that was real.
Yeah.
Like that was real
Which,
in the sense
by
that
the
these things
way,
really happened.
we also have to be, sincere about the fact that here in Miami, where we are, we really didn't have like a serious lockdown compared to the rest of the world.
of lockdown,
right?
Yeah,
Like,
the way they ran stuff.
people
Yeah.
in Peru, like they were only allowed to go certain days depending
yeah,
on like
yeah,
the tag
yeah.
of your car. Like, let's also be grateful to the fact that, wait, I don't know if it's grateful
I
or
mean,
not.
I don't know.
Exactly. But I mean, even with the limitations that we had, it was crazy. It was insane.
Yeah.
I think every mom regardless of the age of their child, face different challenges. Because even moms who had to homeschool, like do the whole schooling through the iPad, like it's
Can you
crazy.
imagine what it could? I mean, we don't even have teenagers, but we have been teenagers, so we know what it's like to be a teenager. Can you imagine having a teenager at home during the pandemic? I think I would have like built a shed outside and just
know.
thrown them there.
I know.
No, I'm just
know.
kidding, you guys. I wouldn't actually do that.
No, but I do think it's an important milestone 5 years after, 5
Yeah.
years later,
Yeah.
to give ourselves grace and kind of, and I think it is important to, watch the videos and realize what we went through so we don't forget all
Yeah.
the skills that we picked up on. Because we definitely, I think, build resilience and
What was
endurance
the
and
craziest thing
patience.
you did in the pandemic? Like the craziest thing that you're like, what was I doing? Which, like, again, unclear. It was wild. It was scary.
'Cause
The
we
news
didn't know.
was
It was
scary.
scary. It was
Like,
the unknown. It
and
was
people
dealing with
were
something.
dying. Like, there were
Mhm.
things that were happening that were really difficult. What is the craziest thing you did during the pandemic?
Let me think. I don't know. I can't even remember if I was like. I definitely
Did you like go to the grocery store?
no. I use a service like delivered to my home.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to risk it. I was very respectful of. I don't know how. I did have obviously my mother. I had a newborn baby. I think
Yeah, it was
because you have
scary.
a newborn baby and you had just given birth, you're a little bit more cautious maybe than anybody else. I also work in the news, so all the information we're getting in the newsroom was like, this is
Crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was pregnant, I was like, oh, maybe I'll plan like a little baby shower. We're looking at the venues.
And we did the drive-through one, right? Or
Right,
something
because
like
before that,
drive-by.
I was like, I even called the venue and I was like, okay, but how long do you really think this is going to be? Like, can we postpone it for like in 2 weeks? Like I'm sure it's gonna be better. And I remember this person telling me, no, this is serious. This is gonna be like,
Yeah.
we don't know how long this is going to go on for. And I remember thinking, like, even like when we started meeting for the podcast,
When was our first meeting for the podcast? Do you remember?
December 2020.
That was when we
When
launched.
we launched it. So maybe October,
Yeah.
like October, like mid-October.
yeah,
So it
yeah.
was like in the,
Wow.
in the middle of
Crazy.
like the thick of it of this pandemic. And I remember thinking, we don't know. And that's why it was in my garage too,
Yeah.
because we couldn't go anywhere. There was no options to like
Yeah,
meet at
yeah,
a
yeah.
studio. We were meeting at cafes here in Miami. But for me, it was like a project that was going to keep me at home, locked down with my baby. And and we didn't know how long it was gonna take. But I remember for one, I don't know if it was a Halloween or something, that you were looking into buying Victoria mask, and I was like, does she have to wear a mask? Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
she's wearing a mask, and she was like year and a half too.
Yeah. Oh, that sucked. That was hard. Yeah. She had to wear a mask because I went to Disney. I mean, I'm also like the worst example. But there was no one there. Okay. And is it controversial? Whatever. It was June.
So that's probably the craziest thing you did.
No, I don't think that's that's what I meant was like something that you're doing and like you're looking at yourself and you're like, what am I doing? I didn't think that. Sorry, I'm gonna get canceled for this, but I didn't think that going to Disney was crazy because there was nobody there. Literally, I was the only person on the ferry going from like the Polynesian resort to Magic Kingdom. I rode like It's a Small World. We were the only people on the little botecito. Like, there are more people at Target. So
Okay.
I took a photo in front of the castle. There's no one around me. Like, I actually think that was like a very like historic, like crazy, like, I don't know why I was there, but I was there.
I baptized Ford October 17th, 2020. And all the pictures, his dad, myself, his godmother, my family, we are all wearing like embroidered masks with his
Embroidered.
name and
Stop.
the cross.
Stop.
But the pictures I mean, I have an album of it, and it's
killing me with
crazy.
You made embroidered
Yeah,
masks.
because at that point, people
Masks.
created these businesses, like entrepreneurs.
I know.
They were like, it was this lady that you would go to her house, you would pick the fabric, you would design your own mask. Everyone got the same mask. So it was like crazy times. It was crazy times.
I think the craziest thing I did, which again, I don't know, because news was crazy everywhere and you didn't know where it was coming from, how you got it, whatever, there wasn't information. But I definitely like would go to the grocery store. I wore gloves and a mask at the grocery store. I brought everything to the house. I took it on the side patio. and I disinfected
Oh,
every
yeah, I
item.
did that.
And I was like, while I was doing it, I was like, this is crazy. Like, what are we doing? What am I doing? But there was so much information. From my side, I was working at Facebook, and like it was a constant. Like we had all these like things in place to try to prevent, misinformation, but also try to inform actively, proactively. So you just get overwhelmed with too much information, I think, at one point. But it was just wild. And Victoria was at home. We had the nanny. It was a constant like do the test and see
I
and
know. And then like someone would get
like
sick, then they couldn't be
I'm like,
around.
man,
But
I
then
just want my kid to be a kid. I just want like go eat some dirt. Like we good.
I do think that mothers were very proactive in creating community for their children because
Yeah.
we were so isolated that I do think it was a season where moms really rallied up. I remember my friend Paola, my friend Christy, like we really made an effort to get our kids who were days apart together to create like make classes for them to play together. And I do think that these COVID children, and I think in the long term we'll find out more information as to like the effect on being born during a pandemic and what they developed in terms of like social skills or what they lack because of that. But I do want to believe that they're resilient, that they're more creative. I feel like Ford is great. Like even now during the summer, during this trip, like he's not really like an iPad kid. Like he literally, that's why every time he asks me to buy him a toy or a dinosaur, I do because he really plays with his toys. He will sit during like the breakfast table or like during dinner and like literally entertain himself for like 45 minutes, just playing with his dinosaurs, creating like playing pretend. So I do want to believe that to some extent this pandemic forced these children who were at home, in my case alone because there was no sibling in the house, to use their creativity, and it forced us mothers to also, help them, stimulate them and creative and do this and do like the virtual music class. And I don't know, I think it's I want to, see the silver lining behind the reality that we went through, which was pretty crazy and scary,
Crazy.
and think that we got some good out of it.
Yeah. I feel like millennials, we've been put through some crazy things. Like we went through 9/11, we went through like the like economy crashing. We just went through some stuff, It's
And we're still here.
we
girl,
here,
we're
we
glowing. And even though I love it, the other day someone put it was a picture. I don't know who did this. This is my mom at 40. And she was dressed, she looked like so much older than than us. I also think we're the generation that has really tapped into like longevity and like
yes, you
living.
love this topic. I love
I
it. I love when
do,
you
'cause
talk
I
about this.
do
I'm like,
feel-
you're comparing us to the cave people, but okay.
No, but like,
You're like, we live longer now than the people before us. I'm like,
because
not
we're
our
living-
moms, like the cavemen. Yes,
No,
we live
but, like,
longer
we
than a
live longer,
caveman.
and we also and that's why we feel younger now. 'Cause
Somebody
back in
told me the
day-
other day, because I said something in my story about like being 40 or whatever, and they were like, you're doing this for clickbait. You're not 40. And I was like, for
You're like,
clickbait?
what?
I was like,
Say it.
tell me again.
Tell me again.
Tell me again. It was funny. Anyway, okay, so
But
Ford
kinder
is
is
ready.
a big deal.
Yes, I know that.
kinder
Hello,
is,
I
like,
was a
the
mess
real
last
deal.
year.
So tell
Kindergarten
me
is
about it.
about kindergarten?
Yeah, what was it so tough on you?
It wasn't like, well, I mean, I was going also through a tricky time, but
But I remember even her turning 5 was a big deal for you.
yeah, because don't you know I have this thing about like when I ran out of fingers, like when I was little, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna turn 11. Like, and now I'm already in my head, it's a thing in my head. And I'm like, now she has to use the other hand and she's gonna run out of fingers to count her age. Imagine me, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4. But like for her, I feel like it's a big deal. 5 is a big deal, was a big deal. Kindergarten is like the beginning. If kindergarten feels like you're getting on the roller coaster, you're getting on the roller coaster of school, and then like that's it. You don't stop until, I don't know. I still like, I'm exhausted. We still haven't stopped. Like, when are we stopping? This is crazy. It's like the roller coaster of life.
Ford's pre-K 3 teacher sent me a video yesterday actually of Ford doing his first week of pre-K 3.
Oh man.
They do this, tell me about yourself, like 3 basic questions, like what's your name, who's your best friend, what's your favorite food, and just the evolution of Ford from like day 1 2 years ago to now. It's like, of course,
crazy.
I cried.
It's crazy.
Shared it with the whole family, and I was like, he was such
I'm finally getting a little bit of momnesia. So like I try not to look too much at like photo memories and stuff. Like
I know.
you like it?
No.
Ah.
I'm an emotional mess when I do.
Oh,
I
okay,
want to get
okay.
to a
I
point
was
where I'm
like,
like, oh, this is so sweet, but I'm always like spiral down into this.
yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, I'm okay. But I looked at something and it was Victoria as a baby, and I was like, oh my God, how cute. And I got all that like warm and fuzzy feeling. And then, it's like that warm and fuzzy feeling was here. And then here was like, girl, don't forget, like, you were exhausted, you were pumping, you were this, you were that, you were dairy free, you were trying to work out, you were this. And I'm like, oh yes, I remember. But the momnesia part that was like, just a little baby, I'm
I
like,
know.
ah. But sometimes the momnesia comes and then I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So okay,
And then,
kindergarten.
and then this morning,
Ah.
Ford was like, "Mom," he kind of woke up and he was like, I guess dreaming about kinder or school. And he told me, he's like, "Mom, there's no rest time. Like there's no nap time in kinder."
It's so funny.
And we move
yeah.
into the big playground. So those two
Yeah.
things for him are symbolic of, wow, this is like,
It's
I'm
a
a
real.
big boy.
He's
It's a
getting on
real
the roller
deal.
coaster, of life. Welcome. Like, I remember my first day of kindergarten so clearly. And actually, the other day I did an exercise with Victoria. This was probably a bad idea, actually. But here we go. So, we were talking about her friend Bill. She loves Bill,
Mhm.
and she was like, "Mommy, did you like how many boyfriends have you had?" And I was like, do you want to go down that rabbit hole? And I was like, well, the first guy that I liked was in first grade.
Wow.
And she goes, I think I'm going to make a list for you. And I was like, grab a pencil and grab a notebook, grab a whole notebook. And so we started going through like all of my crushes from elementary school and middle school. And I was like, man, this stuff starts really early.
Yes.
So like,
And it's
our
real,
kids,
like at that
it's
stage, you
real.
feel it like,
Let me
yes.
tell you something. In first grade, I was like obsessed with this guy named David Behar. And he was so funny. And I remember like sitting in class being like, oh my God, he's so funny. And I liked him because he was funny. And he had kind of a big nose and I didn't care because I was like, he's so cute. He's so funny. And like, it was a real feeling. And I was in first grade. And now my daughter's going to first grade. And I'm like, and I know her. She is like, she's all about the love and the all that stuff. All that.
Which is so cute.
I know. But now I'm worried.
This summer, I read this book, which I'm actually finishing it up now. Because, what it used to take me like, I don't know, a few days to read a book. Now it's like, and it's funny because the other day, Ford goes, Mom, are you still reading that book? He's like, why are you taking that book everywhere? I'm like, because I'm trying to finish it while playing with you. Like, it's hard. It's called Thrivvers. Totally recommended. Is pretty much, it highlights a little bit of that, the, what is it called? The anxiety or the anxious generation about the stress that kids create for themselves based on what their parents tell them, and like all this pressure that we put on their children, and how we could take them from being, I think it was strivers into thrivers, to thrive in life. And empathy was a big one, and self-confidence are like the two main things. If you have children and you could teach these things, you could teach them to be empathetic and you could teach them to be self-confident. And he gives you, a bunch of tools and how to build this and how to work on this. Anyway, so I was reading that book, and at the end of the day, at the beginning, especially when you're pregnant or when you have a small child, you visualize all these things you want for your child, and when you're applying for schools or looking for children's school. At the end of the day, you want your child to be happy.
Yeah.
To be a good human being. I know I've said this so many times, but it's so hard to not fall into this, like, is he meeting the milestones? Is he gonna do great in school? Like, let me get his, like, report card, whatever it's called, or evaluation or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I realized the most important thing is that you want him to be socially, healthy,
good human,
and a good human and happy.
And nice.
And those things you also have to be intentional about. Like, it doesn't just, he just happens. This, this is like his personality.
Default. He came like this.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's obviously some genetics that plays a role. Of course. But I do think there's a lot of it where you have to like put effort and time, and that's what I'm focusing. So I want kinder to be, and when I do all these, like in the summer, I did like this literacy tutor. She's amazing. When he read his first sentence, I was like, great. But at the end of
You're
the
like,
day,
he's going to be a speechwriter. Thank you.
yeah, I mainly do it because I want him to enjoy school as much as I did. I used to love going to school. You know, I'm a social butterfly, so for me, the social component of being around my friend or like, you know, playing with my friends in school was so, you know, important to me that I want him to have the same joy when it comes to school. I don't want him to like drag going to school or like, oh my God, you know. So I think if I help him, I, you know, kind of tackle this like academic or things that you know, I want them to focus on having fun, you know? Because
Yeah.
you tell me kindergarten is like the real deal. Like they're reading, they're doing like
It's amazing. No, it's great. I was telling Victoria because she was like, "What was first grade like for you?" And I said, "Oh, first grade was amazing." I said, "I have my journal from first grade. I still have it, and I go through it
wow.
often. I don't know." And first grade is super memorable for me because that was the year that I went from writing in my journal, taking up like 3 letters in the composition book. You know, the 3 lines. Like my letters would take up 3 lines. My very first journal entry was, "Dear Journal, last night we watched Dick Tracy. It was fun." And then I drew a photo, like
Aw.
I drew a scene of my parents and I on
It's
a
so cute that
sofa
your parents
with a
kept that.
TV.
I'm
My
100% sure
mom, it's
my
my mom,
mom.
obviously my mom. Yeah.
You if I ask my mom like where my I don't know high school diploma is, she'd be like,
Well, I mean, no,
She
you
was
had to keep your
horrible.
high school diploma. You were 18.
I know, but whatever. I don't know my whatever it is.
But yeah, no, my
She has
mom kept
nothing.
everything. My mom kept everything. And it's like, I'm so grateful for that. So, what you see is the progression in first grade going from like, that was my journal entry. We watched Dick Tracy. It was great. Also, I guess that's when Dick Tracy came out, or we rented it from Blockbuster. I don't know. Probably rented it from Blockbuster. That's what we would do. But then the progression towards the end of the school year, I'm writing like full pages of stuff and I'm like sharing everything. And what's so amazing about it, I mean, I kind of get like goosebumps just thinking about this, is that I literally have records of my life, everything that happened. So and so, this family member came to visit us. My friend, this happened. My tooth fell out. Like all the things that were in my brain that were so exciting to me or nervous or made me scared or whatever, like it's all recorded there. It's so beautiful to see that, and it's so beautiful to see the progression of growth that happens in first grade. So like from that side, like kindergarten, yes, it's like that first part where they start reading and like forming their own sentences, but then first grade, like I don't know, it just gets more and more exciting. I don't know. This is a very optimistic take from me, which I'm normally not.
I
But
love
like,
it.
but I'm
So
super excited for that.
and also I'm learning to let go. I think it's been really hard for me to not
That's good.
control what I want for what I think he wants, what I think he needs.
Yeah. Because
So
even right now, you're saying like, I want him to experience this,
yes,
enjoy, and it's
so
like,
for me,
well,
so this season has definitely been the season of just letting go and trusting that he's also developing his own desires and wishes and boundaries, you know. So I took him to pick out his book bag. I had already secretly seen the one I wanted for him. It was green.
so basically,
It
you
had
tricked him.
soccer balls. So I walk in, and this is what I usually would do before when he was younger. And I was like, babe, look at this book bag. Try it on. It's amazing. He's like, wasn't so excited about it. And then kind of turned around and saw this camo, like military
Yeah, yeah.
print.
Yeah, yeah.
What is that print
Camo.
called?
Camo.
Which is like
Camouflage.
my
It's
nightmare,
camouflage.
right? Like if you know me,
Really?
like
But camo's super in right now.
so he picks and he goes,
He
I
knows.
want the army one. I want this
Yes.
one.
Yes,
like,
let's
okay,
go
well,
shoot paintballs.
He's like, go try it on. Maybe, I don't know. So I let him, I gave him his space. I let him try it on. He was like, I love it. I love it. This is the coolest book bag. And then he goes, he loves saying this. This is the best day ever. I'm going to get this book bag. I'm like, so you know what? He got it.
Look at you. That's gross.
I picked it out.
No monograms.
We embroidered his
No,
name.
God.
Embroider his name. He loved it. He picked, I'm like, what color do you want your name? He was like, black.
Yes.
I'm like, okay,
Yes.
we'll do black. We'll do black. So we picked his book bag, and then
You're like dying inside.
we went to pick it up, and it brought me so much joy to see him making his own decisions and being happy with them, and like he was so excited about it. And so this has
the path
definitely
of
been
self-confidence.
A season of like learning to respect his choices, let him make his own decisions, and I know it's only gonna get worse, and I'm hoping
Worse.
that
She said
but I'm
worse.
saying, in terms of like having to let go.
She's like,
But
he's gonna start wearing camo. It's a whole thing. He's
Yes.
gonna wear, like, before you know it, he's gonna be wearing the shorts with the big pockets on the side.
No, the
You're
other
gonna
day
be
we
crying.
walked into Zara because I had to pick something up, and I realized he's into like like the prints with the cartoons. He's like, oh, Pokemon, and I was like, okay, we gotta go, bye. But it's cute to also watch some grow and develop their own
I've completely
style.
lost that battle. Victoria has been dressing herself since she's like 2 years old, and I don't know. I think about it also from the lens of like a girl, and I'm like, you do you, girl. Like, if this
Mhm.
feels good and you like it, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like feeling yourself, like, make that last as long as possible, you know? And I hope that like stays with her forever, because it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling when
Yeah.
you feel that. So, and that gives her that, you know? Sometimes I have to, because she'll be like, Mommy, I just want to wear a crop. I want to wear a crop. And she's like, how come you're not wearing a crop? And I'm like, no.
It's cute, but you're right. You're right. Like once you look at it that way, you do want to see them, feel confident.
It's
and kind of,
empowering for them. This is the little part of the universe that they can control. So you want them to experience that, because that turns into like entrepreneurship and leadership in the future. That's my selling point for you. I know you're like, okay, it's like that.
Oh, so I was designing his getting the labels for his first day of school board.
Oh my
And
goodness.
one of the questions is, I want to be blank when I grow up. So I was like, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? He was like, a ninja. I'm like, have you ever met a ninja? Do you know they're real? Do they exist? He's like, yeah, they fight. I want to be a ninja. And I was like, okay, what do you give me some other? Let's think about it. Let's sleep on it. This was last night. This morning, I was like, okay, what do you else you want to be? He's like, how about a secret agent? I'm like, okay, I'm here for that. He's like, or a doctor. I'm like, okay.
Oh, he said doctor.
I'm like,
that's
okay.
it. It's going in the board.
So I feel like it's all over that, but I do like to think like what he's saying, but like a ninja was so funny. And
Do
then
you know
he goes,
what you wanted to be?
And then he goes, and next year I want to be a soccer player. I'm like, okay, but do you want to be a soccer player now? Like, I don't want him to think that he has to delay his wish,
Wow,
know?
that's so much. Yeah.
So we haven't finalized the final answer, but those are the top four.
Do you know
Soccer
what
player,
you wanted to
ninja,
be when you
doctor,
grew
or
up?
secret agent.
What did you want to be when you
I
grew
went
up?
through a really, again, I don't remember, but I remember wanting to be a pediatrician for a long time.
Really?
Because for career day, I did like the doctor for a long time. And when I was younger, like elementary, maybe middle
Oh my
school.
God, my dreams were so. I
And
wanted to have an
then-
ice cream store.
And then in high school, I wanted to be I think already like a news anchor.
That was it?
Yeah.
There were
I
no
don't-
more pivots in between?
There was a pop star, like small window, but I could never really sing. Like I realized that I was not a great singer very young because of a teacher, which I will leave unnamed, who when I auditioned for, actually It's a Small World, that was a song we had to sing. He was, we really need like an MC, like a host of the show. Like, do you want to just present the class? So I think only like 2 kids in the entire class
Damn.
were not allowed to sing. And she asked me to.
I wanted to have an ice cream store because I liked eating ice cream.
That's a good one though. That's
ambitious. At least I wanted to own the store.
Yeah, it's ambitious, of course.
Like a little bit. And then I
By the way, I took Ford to my Botox appointment. And again, I was the dad dropped him off because he had to go golfing or something. He's like, yeah, drop him off here. I'm here, whatever. So I bring him into the room where they're gonna inject Botox on my face. This is the second time I actually get Botox, and I have forgotten how many times they poke you.
Oh yeah.
So it's like this huge needle. The doctor's there. The doctor's like,
huge needle.
He's like, no, but it's
a needle.
It's a needle.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, you want to help me, Ford? He's like, yeah. So he puts on the gloves and
You're
he's like,
yes,
holding my hand, like squeezing me, and he's like just staring at me the whole time. I don't know if it's traumatizing, but like I was like, oh, like squeezing, like the squeezing thing is squeezing his hand, and they're like poking me here and like poke, and at the end when we leave, he's like, oh, that was cool, Mom. He's like, I want to be a doctor. So in his mind, being a doctor is like someone to poke someone's face.
An
like, I don't think.
esthetician.
Yes, exactly.
Love it. All right. Well, so everybody who has their babies going back to school now, it doesn't matter if your baby is 17 or if your baby is 10 or if your baby is 5. It's going to be great. May the force be with you back to the school year, back to the routine. I'm excited to get back to the routine. I'm here for it.
I have a few friends who are flying back the Monday before, like the first day, which is Thursday of
That's
school.
wild.
to try to get their kids back into from like Euro, like schedule time zone into Miami time zone. So prayer for them.
I mean, there's a lot of people who like to live like that, and they're like, oh, the first week it's not a big deal, blah blah blah. I don't know. I like already like putting Victoria on a schedule. Like, I don't know, but I like to be super prepared for things. So, but anyway, I hope everybody has an amazing school year. To all the
By
pandemic
the way, I find out
babies.
today if I'm room mom again and what teacher forgets.
Jesus,
So
Pamela,
stay tuned.
is it voting? Are they voting for
No,
the
they're
room
they're
mom?
not voting. They're gonna pick two moms from the class. We'll see. Stay tuned.
Anyway, have a great school year.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.